Hello, everyone, and welcome to your October edition, October 2023. And we are specifically, Cindy and I, covering the energy of the eclipses coming through this month. And this is big energy and big change, life-changing stuff for a lot of us. But understanding how it all fits together is why we're here today. And Cindy, I'll go ahead and take it away and start talking about the eclipse. And when we start into this, Cindy's going to go through each sign and how it's going to affect you and the house that it will be affecting. I will pull an overall energy that it brings in the experience, and then we'll give some advice to each sign on how to cope and get the most out of the what you get to see on this leg of your journey. So with that, I'm turning it over to you, Cindy.
Thank you, Brett. Yeah, so glad to be here. It feels like a bit since we've done something like this, but we got a lot of ground to cover, so let's just get right into it. I this week that we're recording, and the eclipse is going to be on Saturday, the 14th, but this week is really a heavy energy week. Pluto, who's been retrograde, which is like the planet of transformation, is now starting its forward movement. It's coming out of retrograde here on the 11th, and it will have a little bit more of Capricorn to get back through since it went retrograde, and then it will be moving into the sign of Aquarius there at the first of the year, which is going to be that huge transition for everyone, moving from kind of that grounded, foundational, earth type energy to a more humanitarian, that's a hard word, humanitarian, technology, equality, thinking outside of the box, think AI, kind of some of the things that we've seen. We got a precursor on when it first went into Aquarius last spring before it retrograded into Capricorn. So the reason why I bring that all up before I even talk about the energy of the eclipse is because, yes, this is a very energetic eclipse. It is a new moon solar eclipse. So that means that, and you might have heard from others or seen online that there's going to be like a ring of fire or a ring of fire new moon. Well, really what that is that is because the moon will go in front of the sun, but it won't completely cover up the sun. So it'll appear like, there's a ring of fire around the moon, which is the sun behind the moon. And the thing about that is that so that sun energy isn't completely getting blocked. So it is still admitting its energy onto us, along with, like I said, Pluto, that is, coming out of retrograde. So, and Pluto wants transformation. It wants us to, put things behind us or tear things down and start up and start all new again. And that's really what an eclipse is when they start a new cycle. And that's what we're in a new cycle, because we were in that let's see, that was the Taurus Scorpio energy in the last eclipse series. And so now we're moving into the Libra Aries nodal axis for the eclipses coming up over the next 2.5 years. We got one more hit on that Scorpio Taurus eclipse, and that will be the second one this month at the full moon eclipse. But this first one is on that Aries Libra axis. And the last time that happened was in 2005, which was about 18 years ago. So if you think about themes that were going on about 18 years ago, those same themes could be coming up right now. So for me, the eclipse hits up in my 10th house, which is the house of public image and or career. And I actually did start a job in around 2005. And so, and I am looking now to leave my current job and start a new job. So those themes really do kind of, you can see how they create these karmic cycles in our life.
share with you in 2005, 18 years ago, it was when my first child was born, and she was born on Lionsgate 8/8. So yeah, very life-changing. My first child coming into this world and a whole new beginning, learning to be a
Yes.
father, parenthood. So yeah, very amazing to look back.
Yes, yes. And so I encourage everybody to take a little bit of time and think back to those themes. And for some of you, there was an eclipse as part of the other series in 2013 and 2015. So that wouldn't have brought as much strong energy like 2005 did, as well as what we're going to see here going forward. But again, those might be a couple of times where there might have been a small hit of energy that's very similar to what we're going to see with this eclipse. So that's the first thing that I want everybody to do, is just to look back in time. And then the other thing is we know, when it's on the Aries Libra axis, which we've kind of talked about this before, is it's the I versus the we. So there's going to be a lot of focus on yourself and how can you align with yourself, yet do that in a way that it works with those that are around you, whether it be in your relationships, your community, your friends, your work, the community, the collective. So there's got to be a balance there. It can't be all about you and it can't be all about them. There's got to be some kind of balance there. And that's what this eclipse series is really getting us to look at and to focus on. And because, with Aries, this particular eclipse is starting on that axis of the first house, Aries being the first sign of the zodiac, and then the seventh house, and the seventh house is the house of partnerships and or relationships. So the other thing that is really important with this particular eclipse is that the south node, which is what we're familiar with, where we came from, kind of like what's easy for us, how we know how to do relationships versus maybe what we need to transform into in terms of relationships. Well, that south node is conjunct Chiron in this eclipse. And Chiron, is the planet of the wounded healer. So it likes to get us to focus on past traumas or past hurts or past issues, that we don't want to, that sometimes we might just sweep under the rug. So I'm going to, when we talk about each one of these signs, there'll be a couple of times where I'm going to talk about, you specifically got to let that go, because that's what this eclipse is doing. It's a really good healing energy to clear up some of that Chiron wounded feelings that we have had in the past. It's a real clearing out so that we can move forward energy. So with that, let's just get started and get right into the signs. And the first sign is going to be Aries. And like I said, that falls on the first house and the seventh house. And just, I guess one more thing I want to say that's unique about what Brett and I are doing here today is you might read a lot of things online about this eclipse, but what you're reading is giving you more of a collective perspective of what this eclipse is like. It's not being tailored specifically to you. And I'm not specifically tailoring it to you because I haven't talked to you and I don't know what's coming up in your life, but I can tell you the houses in which the themes are likely coming up for you with this eclipse, which is giving you a little bit more in-depth information about this eclipse versus what you might just be reading out there, on the internet or Facebook or whatever it may be. So that's a real benefit for what you're getting from Brett and I here. So back to Aries, it's falling in that first house of self. Think about it like a baby, you know, that's where we come in, that's where our rising sign is. So it's where we start to learn about ourselves as babies, and that continues all through our life. It's the house of self, what we need for ourselves, how do we align with ourselves. And then the seventh house is where the actual new moon eclipse part is hitting here on the 14th, and that is in relationships or partnerships, one-on-one partnerships. So Aries could be looking towards evolving those one-on-one partnerships. And evolving could be, you know, if there has been some kind of tension in your one-on-one partnerships, it just may be that you've figured it out and you've learned how to evolve it and how to make it better and how to move it forward. Or it could be, you know what, it's just not going to work and we got to let it go. Right. So that could be one or the other for the Aries out there. But whatever that is, because of that first house access is, it's all about the stories that you're telling yourself. And so you need to release those old stories. So if the stories are, I can't do it without my partner, well, guess what? You can do it without your partner. And, you know, and again, that's what the eclipse is going to be here to teach you over this next series. So let's pull some cards for Aries.
All right, Aries. So yeah, taking the lead like they should. You know, Aries can't just sit there and watch things happen. They make things happen. And this is, and like you said, on the first house of self. And I was kind of playing around with the cards, and the justice has hit the table. You know, it's things coming into balance, and we talk about the seed, right? This is a divine, the Ace of Pentacles. That's the seed. That's taking the lead, taking charge, and planting that seed. And it's that seed, like you said, whether it's to stay, it's like shit or get, right? That's because they can't sit around waiting for stuff to happen. So I feel this energy like they've got this new seed, they've got this new want, this new desire. Now I'm going to pull the advice for you. And we get change your focus.
Yeah, let go of those stories, right?
Yes. And I believe this this five here is of the Five of Pentacles. Oh, it's actually green border. All right. So this is Five of Cups. Change your focus. Number is 105. And this is about experiencing those disappointments, those loss, and when things shift happens. And it's about showing appreciation for learning those things so that when you plant this new seed, this Ace of Pentacles, you can be successful with it. So some disappointments and sadness are inevitable. How you deal with it determines the quality of your life. It may be that you've recently experienced a loss, perhaps the end of a friendship or a failed romance. Maybe your family isn't providing the support you need, or you regret decisions you've made. Any number of situations can cause unhappiness. When relationships don't turn out the way you expected, it's natural to feel upset and hurt. However, it's not healthy to remain in that state for too long. When this card appears, it's time to put those sorrows behind you and shift your focus to what is good and positive in your life. Appreciate the people who love you and your ability to give love to others. Take stock of what you bring, what brings you joy. Take charge of your own happiness is key here. Focus on what you have and are thankful for, and attract more of the same. And that is the Ace of Pentacles. You know, it's like realizing your value and being happy with those things you have and where you're at and your point. And it's now time to change your focus, right? Get out of your comfort zone and take the lead. So that is what I'm feeling in that first house. And it's funny, Ace of Pentacles, number one, house of self. This is your seed to plant. Change your focus, change your perception, you change your life. That's your message for Aries.
Okay. So the next one is Taurus. Love it. Love it. I hope everybody got something from that. So Taurus is going to be on that sixth house, which is the house of your health, your body, your routines, your habits, your service to others. And so that's gonna for Taurus, you're gonna want to treat your body more mindfully, because again, that's going to be the 6th and 12th house. So get more in tune from an inner perspective with your body. Trust yourself. Trust what you're feeling from your inner wisdom. And this will create a new way of being for you.
All right. I feel that energy with Taurus. And they're all about taking care of themselves. And yeah, maybe more focused on the material, but now it's time to focus more on the internal rather than the external, right? Mm-hmm. That's what with that. And the card, we get the Princess of Swords. And that kind of energy is like it's the energy of something coming in to like chat you up, and like it's about communications. And I feel like it's all about taking new directives. This is air and earth energy. So this is Taurus starting to communicate and possibly starting to open up, right? Tauruses can be more of the external event and not so much showing their internal self, but here it's telling them to open up. And so with that, we talk about communications and people coming up. And the princess or the page of swords is ready for a fight too. And Tauruses are ready to fight for their own space, their own right to be in this world and where they want to be and what's driving them to success. And so I feel like this is something to bring in here. It's like telling you to follow your energy. Whatever's drawing you at this time, it's like you need to follow that. It's like a breath of fresh air for you. And what we get for the advice, we get love abounds. And it's card number 1 for this, green borders. And these are cups. So this is really an emotional awakening when we talk about the Ace of Cups, the divine gifts coming in. And this is talking about trust and being optimistic and open. Like I said, the communications here and radiating your energy more than keeping it to yourself. It's about celebrations. And when this card appears, it's telling you that you have the potential to achieve everything that you want. The powerful energy of love surrounds you. Use it. Listen to your heart. What is it asking you to do? Should you reach out your hand in friendship to someone, offer forgiveness, or make yourself more available? Trust in your ability to create and maintain true, loving relationships. Now is the time to make that happen. Be optimistic and open to all possibilities. Open your eyes, heart, and energy field to receive the bounty that's coming to you. Release any negative thoughts and beliefs around love. They don't serve you and, in fact, can prevent love from finding you. This card is reminding you to focus on your bountiful, loving qualities and let them radiate out into the world. By letting your light and love shine, you will attract your heart's desires. And that's just like the Princess of Swords, Page of Swords, is putting yourself out there. It's about communications and opening up to new possibilities. So there's love out there, or those things that you love, Taurus, whether it's you love to eat, you love material, or you just love being loved. Yeah. We'll just leave that there for our Taurus collective.
I love it. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to Gemini. So Gemini is going to hit in the 5th house. And the 5th house is the house of fun. It's the house of creativity. It can be the house of siblings or children. Um, so it is going to be very heart-centered for the Gemini, to learn to have more creative endeavors. You know, Gemini's is an air sign, so it lives in its head a lot. And they also are masters at telling themselves stories, and stories that may not always be true.
Right.
So so they need to you know, kind of like to put a phrase to it, like take out the trash, like take out all those old negative stories that have been running your mind, and just basically flip the script, and you know, work on those inner thought patterns so that
Right.
they can bring more creativity, more fun to their lives.
Right. I feel this energy of like replaying the same record over and over, not hearing the words right.
Mm-hmm. That'd be
You know,
Gemini.
like,
Yes.
I sing a ton of songs that I think I know the lyrics and, hardly ever write, but I still like the song. I just wish I could sing it better. Right.
Right.
Or sing the right words. So let's see. And Gemini being so mutable, they can jump one thing to the other, back and forth, all around. And it's sometimes hard to stay very grounded in that kind of energy, especially when you're so much in your freaking thoughts. And what jumps out here? King of fucking swords. Sorry about the cussing, but you know, this is the true king of truth. It's like finding the truth in the truth. Like whatever you've been telling yourself, I think y'all know the truth, or the truth will be revealed to you if you haven't been listening or you're not ready to make the changes. King of Swords will come in and change that for you, whether you're the sword or the one swinging it, right? So the universe is asking you to get out of the negative thoughts that have been holding you back and find the truth in what your journey is promoting to you. And the King of Swords is looking at the bigger picture. He's the visionary of what is to be, and he uses his thoughts and not his emotions to influence logical decisions and where they want to go. And so we get card number 19. It's called Shine, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like this energy. It's a major arcana, so it is a big shift. Page 67. And Shine is all about it's believing, and it's also realization. It's asking you to harness your enthusiasm and really understanding your potential. And this is where you make the breakthrough. The King of Swords breaks through this with his swords. He's the only one that's armed in all of the arcana, is the King of Swords. He has the potential to make lots of changes, and dramatic ones too. This card symbolizes the positive of powerful energy that now surrounds you. By embracing this energy, you can improve current relationships and draw new ones to you. See yourself in a glowing orb of brilliant golden light. Believe in the power of this light to infuse your relationship with enthusiasm, life, and greater love and understanding. See it moving outward, surrounding all of the people you know and filling them with joy and hope. Visualization can be quite powerful, so use it to magnetize and attract what you want in your life. It's also time for you to let your own light shine. You're an amazing being. You're magnificent. Realizing and believing this is the key to unlocking your personal potential. Be confident in your dealings with others. Use your talents to point relationships in positive, empowering directions. Letting your own light shine will act as a beacon to attract others to you. People of like-minded and similar vibrations. It will also encourage others to let their own light shine. So harness the amazing energy surrounding you and shining from within. Use this energy to break through any obstructions that stands in the way of complete happiness, knowing that you deserve the best. People are attracted to you when you are joyful, enthusiastic, and confident. Radiate these qualities in the world and see what beautiful things you attract. The King of Swords, my goodness, Gemini, this is how you change your world. This is like, like you said, taking that record on that it's probably been playing backwards, play it forwards and play it like how you want it to be. And it's relighting all of those relationships to become that beacon, to draw in rather than repel, which, the dual sides of Gemini, so let your heart shine and like discover the truth.
I love it. Okay, so Cancer. Cancer's up in Cancer. The new moon eclipse is in your 4th house. The 4th house is the house of home, family, foundations. It is opposing that access with your 11th house. The 11th house is your community, your friends. So Cancers, they are probably re-energizing their home base. That could mean that they are reconnecting with family. It could mean that they're releasing some past hurts or traumas about family, with that, that Chiron there. But they're moving on. They're moving on through their family, by releasing these old hurts, and they're finding a new tribe. They're finding, or changing their tribe. They're moving, they're expanding their base of operations. They're moving away from that south node, and any past hurts or whatever, through their family, that is going to ultimately lead to a change in probably friends that are more in line with what they're interested in.
Well, and Cancers can draw in a lot of different people and associate with so many that it's easy for them to get sucked into the wrong situations, the wrong groups that are most apt to take advantage of their good hearts. And you also don't want to piss off a Cancer neither, because they'll make the changes when they're ready to. So let's see what we got for Cancer through this eclipse. Well, there we go. 10 swords, Gemini energy. This is like, I'm done with all these swords in my back. I'm ready to change these friend groups. I'm done with the people that are hurting me, taking advantage of me, and like you said, change your new tribe. And some of those swords from the family can be the hardest ones to take out, right?
Right.
This is showing the end of a cycle, which is what's great about these lunar eclipses, because they allow us to start fresh when we're ready to release those things. This is the things in the past that have really wrecked us, the people that like used our hearts against us. And they get the throat chakra, right? And that's all about using your voice and saying, enough is enough. So this is card number 5, and 5 and 5 is 10. And those tend to be, fives are all about the things that make the changes, like through those arguments, through those deceptions. When we exercise the throat chakra, and we start saying what's on our mind and our needs, and are these things really living up to our expectations? And so the key things here are the color green, and this is of the air element being communicated. And the keywords are I love. So it's I think it's always talking more about the things I love rather than the things I don't like. I mean, that's the positive and the negative on these. So parallel to the heart, I'm sorry, located in the throat area, this chakra is with communication, sound, and creativity, and the ability of clairaudience, inner hearings. So many artists, speakers, writers, singers, and others in this creative arts have their creative throat chakras. To activate this chakra, use your voice in some way. Sing, chant, hum, laugh, make some noise. Energizing this chakra helps you speak your truth in a clear and kind manner, improving your relationships and increasing your sense of well-being. You know, some of the most creative people in this world are the Cancers, with their music, with their jokes, their, you know, their communications, how they feel, like communicating their throat chakra through their emotions, give them that power. Really, it's like I said, to desire to bring in and manifest what they truly need or want through that exercising their own needs and in a way that is kind, and, you know, releasing the things that have been holding them back or keeping them on that negative side of thing. This is the time we're just done with the bad and it's in with the good. So I feel it's like a big shift of, it's like the tides changing for the Cancers for this.
Agreed.
All right.
Agreed. Okay, so Leo, moving on to Leo. So the new moon eclipse is going to be hitting them in their third house. And the third house is the house of communication. It can be like writing, it can be talking, it could be reading, it could be teaching. And its nodal axis is up there in the 10th house. In the 10th house is like your public image and or your career. So they need to learn to communicate probably in a new way through this eclipse. And then they need to release maybe some way that they have been operating in the past. So that could be you know, a job that they had. It could be closing just some kind of door and opening up a new door going forward with this eclipse. So yes, they are going to be using their communication to help them put some and release some old ways behind them.
No, I can understand that too, because, you know, my Leo daughter has started her, you know, she's graduated and now playing around with careers and starting new jobs, and not, you know, being so new to the job force, not knowing how to communicate her wants or needs. And also, do, you know, those companies really care what your wants and needs are, right? I mean,
Mhm.
the job market and everything is one of those things anymore. So we talked, it was about letting go, and we've got the card called defeat, right? It's admitting when you're wrong, or it's when you're admitting if something is not working out as it should be. And those swords help to communicate. They can be aggressive though. And the biggest thing with the Leos is not to become aggressive, just to be able to express their needs in a way that doesn't make it tense, right? Because Leos can bring out a lot of energy and can get really intense really quickly, especially if they're agitated or something's not going in their way. This card flew off the table. I got to pick it up because it's card number 8. It's called Control. Card number 8 and the major arcana is the Leo card, and it's strength. So what was this talking about, right? I was just saying this. And it's all about controlling, you know, your impulses and how to put out your needs there where they're actually heard by the right person, or by the, you know, so that they can dictate which way they want things to go rather than trying to control it too. So this is all about mastering, accepting what is, and is showing compassion and patience, but also being confident and not arrogant. So in order to flourish, relationships must be fluid and free rather than overly rigid and controlled by emotional neediness or insecurity. It's important to master your emotions so that they do not rule the relationship, which Leos can do for sure. A partnership based solely on emotions is out of balance and out of control. Self-control is key here. Act from a combination of emotional and intellect, and your relationships will thrive and grow. Be sure that your influence is gentle and loving. This is not the time for domination. This card asks you to accept another person's uniqueness and to not require that person to conform to a mold you're choosing just to make you feel more comfortable. This card also serves as a reminder to come from compassion and understanding rather than anger and frustration. Now is the time for patience, steadiness, and clear thinking. Apply these qualities to your relationships with others and with yourself. If you're involved with a difficult person or situation, try to look through the other person's eyes and experience what his or her heart and soul feels. Try to see the situation from another's perspective. With self-control comes confidence. Allow a situation to unfold and detach yourself from the outcome. Don't try to control it. The end results of self-control and confidence is supreme peace. Take some time to examine how control is, in many aspects, is affecting your relationships. So that was just really, like I said, very spot on about how to communicate in a way that gets your point across without being overbearing, over aggressive, like Leos can do. They can dominate, right?
All that fire energy.
Yeah. And we've got to accept defeat because we're not always right. And there's always new perspectives. And I think that's what the biggest thing was here, was to listen more rather than project for our Leos out there.
Okay, sounds good to me. So now we move on to Scorpio, or not Scorpio, Virgo. So Virgo's eclipse is hitting them in their 9th house. In the 9th house is the house of like higher learning, teaching, traveling, could be religious, it could be metaphysical, philosophy, the opposite, well, it's not the opposite house to the 9th house, but the 3rd house is also about communication, but that's more about communication one-on-one, how we learn to communicate, as we're growing up. Once we get up around to the 9th house, that house is more higher learning and philosophy and things like that. So for our Virgos, for this eclipse, they need to take their talents and acknowledge their talents and become serious about their talents. They have that energy anyways to be very habitual and very methodical in their approach, but doesn't necessarily mean that they use that to expand, all that talent that they have. So again, through this eclipse, they are being asked to expand their talents, expand their skills, maybe adding new things to their talents and their skills. And then, they could be going on some kind of trip. And maybe that trip is, whether it's a day trip, whether it's a dream, whether it's a vacation, a work trip, there could be something that has to do with some type of travel that is going to help them to put behind any critical self-doubt that they have, which Virgos tend to have a lot of. They're very critical on themselves, and to really appreciate their talents and expand them and take them seriously.
Yeah, when you're talking about this, I feel the energy of like getting out of your comfort zone. Virgos, they like to sit in their nice quiet place, analyzing everything, maybe keeping more in than putting out. But here it's telling them to, come out of your shell.
Right.
Come out of your shell. Ace of Wands. Put your spark out in there. Put your fire out into the world. Go to your creative place. Like, take this creative torch and go see what you can set on fire. this fire sign energy, and it's about what you can manifest right now, and it's understanding you have all the tools and then the passion to drive this, and you're inspired at this time. So there is this energy of being inspired, like you said. You talk about traveling, but I feel like there's an energy of just going out there and getting it. You know, whether you're traveling for that or metaphorically going out there and getting it. You want this new spark, you want this creative thing, you want to put your light out in the world. And you know, I like this. I haven't read this card yet. It's the crown chakra. That's the creative, you know, to me, the crowning energy, even before I read the card, is that what comes from your head, that, you know, that those things that you bring in through your own uniqueness. And so this deals with the color violet. And these are our thoughts, right? And these are what Virgos are about. They're very analytical and about analyzing. It deals with the pineal gland, and the word is I know. So it's also talking about those things that you know about and that you want to explore. So the crown chakra is located at the top of the head and has been called the thousand-petaled lotus, or the receiver of light. This chakra is the center of your link with the universe, the infinite, and your higher consciousness. It is the connection between wisdom and spiritual insight. The crown center is the area where the ethereal light and the energy are received and then dispersed through your aura for total well-being. To enhance this chakra, sit quietly and visualize a lotus bud on the top of your head. As the bud blossoms, see a shower of whitest violet light shining down from the universe onto the lotus, fulfilling and nourishing it. When completed, simply let the vision fade. Expanding the chakra opens you to receiving the ultimate bliss, divine love, and take comfort in knowing that you are cherished. And I love that it comes with the torch, that new energy, and the chakra opening up and allowing them to put their light and their energy out, and it's coming out of that comfort zone, and really kind of experiencing. Virgos are the feminine energy as an earth sign, but now experiencing the masculine side where they can take control and like come out of their shell and bring their energy into the world. So, and it's through that crowning energy, and it's freaking magical, I think. So
Agreed. Okay, so now we come to Libra. And so you know this eclipse, it's the Libra eclipse. It's in the sign of Libra. So this is for you, Libras. And the one thing I do want to say too, we didn't mention at the beginning, and hopefully people are holding on to listen to all the signs, because you should be listening to this for both your sun sign and your rising sign. So, you know, this, if anyone that we've talked about so far is also your rising sign, then this, whatever the message was, could be applicable to you too. So for Libras, because this eclipse is in the sign of Libra, it is hitting them in their 8th house. In the 8th house is the house of transformation. It is the house of death, taxes, sex, other people's money, inheritance. So it's for Libra. So what I really want to say for Libras is that, you know, like, go big, put yourself first, take more space, take up more space in the world right now, express your truth. Again, that 8th house, the house of transformation, it's time for you to, you know, just kind of get out there and do it without guilt. And, you know, it is opposing your probably be around your 2nd or 1st house. So there could be some kind of financial story that you've been telling yourself that you need to release and invest in yourself instead of the woe is me, in terms of, any kind of financial situations, invest in yourself, and really just kind of put yourself out there going forward in the next 2.5 years.
Oh, next 2.5 years. Well, I want to wish all the Libras happy birthday this month, Libra season. My daughter is a Libra, my second daughter, born on 10/22, now 11 days from today. So happy birthdays, my Libra. And go big or go home is what I hear. So let's see what the cards want to
And you
talk
know
about.
what? I am going to back up there while you're doing that, Brett, because you're right. When you said 2.5 years, I was thinking, no, that's the moon. It's for the eclipses, it's 18 months. Their
Okay,
series is 18 months.
close enough though. I mean, we're all
Yeah,
in a little
getting
different.
there. Yeah.
So we get 7 of Pentacles here. This is Taurus energy, and it's about growth, and it's the process of getting there, and it's called success unfulfilled, because I feel like a lot of Libras are maybe unfulfilled with where they're at and wanting more, but it's a lot to get them to shift their gaze wherever their gaze is, because it may throw them off balance or something that is very hard for them to balance. But there is success out there, and there are rewards to harvest during these eclipses. So it's about going big, and it's about putting the work in too to achieve it, because it's not just gonna, money doesn't grow on trees is what I'm hearing.
Right, right.
So I feel like, and it's kind of funny, that card looks like the money and the pentacles are on the trees, right? But we've got to plant those seeds. We also get the control card for our Libras, and I'll read that again because it is about, controlling the mind. Because Libras are very much about the thought process, and they've got to overcome and control what their heart and mind say to each other,
Yeah,
because it
an air sign.
can definitely throw them for a loop with that. So, with that, again, let's look. It's about mastering patience, confidence, and being compassionate and accepting what is off balance and then going after what it is. So, in order to flourish, relationships must be fluid and free rather than overly rigid and controlled by emotional neediness or insecurity. It's important to master your emotions so that they do not rule the relationship. A partnership based solely on emotions is out of balance. And that's funny for Libras because that becomes out of control. Self control is key here. Act from a combination of emotional and intellect, and your relationships will thrive and grow. Be sure that the influence is gentle and loving. This is not the time for domination. This card asks you to accept another person's uniqueness and not to require the person to conform to a mold you've chosen just to make you feel more comfortable. This card serves as a reminder to come from a place of compassion and understanding rather than anger and frustration. With Libras like to be able to communicate their anger and frustrations now. Now is the time for patience, steadiness, and clear thinking. Apply these qualities to your relationships with others and with yourself. If you're involved with a difficult person or situation, try to look through the other person's eyes and experience what his or her heart and soul feels. Try to see the situation from another's perspective. With self-control comes confidence. Allow a situation to unfold and detach yourself from the outcome. Don't try to control it. The ends, results, and self-control and confidence is supreme peace. And this is what they're looking for too. Libras want peace so they can easily balance and move from one side to the other. And right now, for Libras, they've probably been going through a lot. I know some Libras that are struggling with change and struggling with all of the things here. And it's really time to focus on what's important here. What's going to make you grow so you can get those pentacles? What is in your thoughts going to make the biggest bang for your buck? And I say that metaphorically, for your money, but also for your self-expansion, and really being able to control, listen, and restore balance when balance is off kilter, not causing an imbalance, or trying to fit a mold. Because Libras can try to control, right? They want to control the balance and the outcomes. So Libras, that's the hardest thing you're going to have to do through this cycle. And control for a lot of people is hard. I can't remember who got that. I think was it Leo or Leo just get that?
Yeah, I think it was Leo.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So
Okay, for our Scorpios. So for the sign of Scorpio, sun sign of Scorpio or rising of Scorpio, the nodal axis for this is your 12th house, and it's in that 7th house, 6th house. So, you know, the fact that it's axis is part of your 12th house, you know, for Scorpio, the 12th house is, you know, that those really kind of deep, dark, karmic kind of inner work that we have to do. And so that's perfect for Scorpios because, you know, that's what they thrive on. They are a very internal water sign, and they have a lot of intuition, but their intuition is going to be quite a bit more heightened during this eclipse cycle. And they, you know, the one thing that they do need to release in this cycle is if there have been any like partnerships or relationships that have not been in alignment with their inner being or um their their inner reflection of themselves, then they need to release that. It's time to release any partnerships or relationships that are not in alignment with you anymore. And you really need to tap into your intuition, which you do have a lot of during this eclipse cycle, to follow through with that.
well, and like you said, that 12th house is pretty mysterious and it can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different Scorpios out there. But you know, some of the hardest things for Scorpios to get out of their own ideologies, their own self-perceived what they think it should be when they've been living it the wrong way or trying to make it fit, you know. And you know, like you said, 3 of Swords here, the Heartbreak Hotel. This is letting go. This is letting go of regrets, letting go of the past. It's, you know, those people that have cheated on you or cheated you, uh, and really have put you into that place where it's the hardest place for a Scorpio or a water sign is to deal with those emotional pains that really we can carry around for a long time. And this is one of those times where you can really shift your gaze from what you thought you wanted to really trusting your intuition and saying, I think I know, I feel I know in my heart, I need to make these changes so that I can be happy. I can really gravitate towards the energy that I'm about, not these things that are keeping me, you know, inside, you know, or in my little where I recluse, where I seclude to. Is, you know, Scorpios need to be heard and being out in the open. And I love it. The card that comes out, card number 10, it's called flow. You know, it's, you know, that stuff that's bottled up and now letting it out, you know, letting out the heartbreak, letting out the pain so you can truly experience. And this person's like grabbing their heart. Oh my God, you know, oh, the heartache, the pain, you know, let it flow because, you know, that's how the transformation goes. Once you, I always see that when you have the 3 of Swords, every tear that falls, once you let it out of your face and it hits the ground, it plants a new seed. Like you've let that tear go, you haven't been holding it in. You're now allowing your energy to be released so that you can blossom and show parts of you that maybe haven't been out there. And this is letting you release, and it's also expansion and it's cycles, and it's also attracting happiness and serendipity. So the energies around you at this time are positive and are driving you forward. Let yourself flow with these energies and put them to good use. This is an opportune time to attract your heart's desires. Do you want more love, peace, and greater understanding? Is your heart calling out for a new relationship? Does a current relationship need improvement? Focus on your desires and allow them to manifest by expecting them to. And at the same time, release yourself to the flow. Events greater than you can ever imagine may be heading your way. Project your desires, but also be open to new possibilities. Good fortune and joyful synchronicities come with the flow card. Open your heart and arms wide and embrace what comes to you. Nothing is static. Life flows in cycles, expanding and contracting, changing and growing. You may be entering a new cycle regarding matters of the heart. Welcome this new cycle. When a stone is tossed into a pond, the ripples flow with the water as they expand and grow. You're in an exciting period of forward movement and expansion, heading into the unknown, which is the 12th house, right?
Mhm.
This forward movement may guide you into new relationships or out of old ones. In either case, know that the change is for your highest good. The energy of expansion will help you grow into your new situation gracefully, safely, and comfortably. And this is the Wheel of Fortune card as it relates to the major arcana. These are karmic. These are soulmates. These are breaking those bad soulmate cycles and offering in those new soulmates that come in to offer the how we get over regrets and sorrows, like the new love that comes in, and allowing the energy to flow in and out like the oceans do, rather than trying to, like Scorpios do, control and make things how they feel they need it to be made.
Correct. I agree 100%. Okay, so Sagittarius. So your nodal axis for these eclipses is in the 6th house and the 11th house. And so it's going to be it's going to be a fresh start for you. You've been working really hard, but now it's time for you to align with your tribe, align with your community, people that have the same dreams as you, the same focus as you. But because the lunar eclipse is in that 6th house, that is the house of like health, routines, habits, service to others. So if you've had some kind of health issue, something might get resolved around this new eclipse series for you in terms of a health issue. And maybe it's going to include like letting go or changing some kind of habit.
I always feel mental health is like one of the biggest things people struggle with. Not so much, well, it affects your physical health if you don't have strong mental health. And yeah, trust me, these day and age, things tend to mess with our heads. And with the Sagittarius, yeah, you can get their fires lit. They're a mutable sign. They can be all over the place, but they can be so very powerful when they're really focused on what they want to achieve. And so we got 7 of Pentacles in the reverse. This is that unfinished work, right? This is what you've been talking about. That they're experiencing they don't have the motivation. They feel like everything around them is almost mediocre. This is where we need to put more effort into those things that we want to change. And this is in the sign of Taurus. And I feel like it's getting them more in touch with their feminine side, is this at that end. It's more grounding, because Sagittarius does need a ground to put their feet on, so that they can grow this. But they've been dealing with a lot of setbacks, and impatience is one of the hardest things. That's why their card in the deck is Temperance, right? Oh man, they get the sexy card, the sacral chakra. If that don't get your mojo going, I don't know what will. So the sacral chakra, it's all about sex and love, and it can be lust and all that good stuff too. But the sacral here, it's all about the color orange, and we're in that season too, right? Where things are changing. It's a water element, and it's about what we want. dealing with the sacral chakra. So the second chakra is located 2 fingers below your navel and relates to emotions, desires, creativity, and sexuality. To activate this chakra, visualize a glowing orange ball of energy in your belly area. See it spinning and sparkling. Feel joy as it grows larger and sends orange sparks out into the universe. By energizing your sacral chakra, you attract creativity, joy, passion, and love into your life. This exercise can be used to energize any chakra simply by visualizing the appropriate color and energy. So I feel like it's this energy of, it's kind of lustful, but it's also something that what we desire, those things that really get us motivated. Because right now they're in this energy, they don't feel like things are growing or there's just no reward. So they've got to re-energize.
Fresh start.
Yeah, sexually if it has to be, but it's also that passionate energy that comes with it. So yes, then Sagittarius is a very sexual sign too. You know, they got the fires. They can bring whatever they want to any party. So bringing the best of themselves, and like you said, releasing those old habits, changing negative patterns, and like it's almost like flipping the script. You know, okay, are you tired of reading on page 2? Go to page 4. It gets a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Looking ahead and also building up to that. It's building up that energy.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to the Capricorns, and their nodal axis is going to be that 5th house and 10th house. How appropriate for a Capricorn. Their career, their public image up there in that 10th house, and then down there in that 5th house, the one descriptor of the 5th house that I didn't talk about is that it is also the house of like love affairs. And I don't mean like having an affair necessarily, but it's more like that young love, like the initiation of a new love affair versus that 7th house, which is like marriage and partnerships, kind one-on-one partnerships kind of vibe. So for Caps, this nodal series for you is going to be your year for your career and stepping up and stepping out, maybe of what you've been currently doing into something new. And or maybe just it's in the same field, but it could be something like a promotion potentially. But the themes are going to be around your career as well as around some kind of love that could be ending or clearing out. That's not the lunar side is in that 5th house. So the lunar eclipse on the 28th. So yeah, they could be closing out some kind of young love or love affair.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like one of them sparks that went out real hot and heavy, and okay, it's not as stable as a Capricorn hoped. I like that they're working towards those promotions, and really Capricorns love that stability, and also what they earn. You know, it's okay. We got 2 cards for Capricorn. First one they got 2. Justice coming in, karmic. Like you said about promotions and stuff, these are contracts. They could be business contracts, they could be court, they could be coming into a contract but things that will balance and reward them. Of course, justice, what side of the rewards are you going to be? And we've got 8 of Cups, right? Walking away from those things, like if you have that job that's not going to get you anywhere, you need to walk away from that and maybe try something different. Right? This is injustice is driving that. We're in Libra season, so that may be something coming. You may have to walk away from something in order to find something better. Is what I feel with that. And your advice? Oh, okay. With the 8 of Cups, what do we get? Sadness and isolation. Sometimes walking away from those things may be sad, like leaving a group of friends or people that things that weren't working out for you. Sorry about this. 21. So sadness and isolation. I always like that. I think of the Virgo and the Hermit card. So this is letting go of disappointments, and it's also trust and going through the healing process. And love can bring both joy and sorrow. When disappointment enters your life, it's important to acknowledge accomplishments, sadness, and feelings of loss. However, it's equally vital not to dwell on the loss. The temptation may be to isolate yourself from the world and cling to your grief. This card is a reminder to trust that your situations, as hard as it may be, is in your best interest. It's time to gently let go of sorrow and disappointment. Sorrow can hold you back, or it can elevate you to new levels of understanding. Focus on your sadness and loss will prevent you from attracting new positive energy around your relationships. So it's time to turn your disappointment into hope for the future. Ask what lessons you can learn from the situation. Move beyond despair into healing and joyful love. Let go and move on. You have more powerful spiritual forces helping you than you could ever imagine. And I love that walking away is with the Eight of Cups here. Like those cups aren't holding any water anymore anyways. And you have this energy behind you to, experience the grief, but also grow from it, right? From each negative becomes a positive. So it's a walking away so that you can explore and find that new thing that's going to expand and grow for you.
Help you
And
step up. Yep.
yeah.
Okay, so Aquarius. This is a really big eclipse for the Aquarians too. Not because it's in their sign, but because of, I was talking about Pluto at the beginning of the video, and the Pluto is coming out of retrograde in Capricorn and will be moving in to the sign of Aquarius around the 1st of January. So it's a lot of change, a lot of transformation for the sun sign or rising sign of Aquarius. And it does fall in that nodal axis for them, falls in that 9th house and in the 4th house. We've already talked about that too. 9th house is that higher learning, philosophy, maybe esoteric types of metaphysical types of pursuits for the Aquarian, and just maybe a higher consciousness for them. But they will be focusing on expanding, creating like their sphere of influence, I guess, is what I want to say. They're going to be expanding that and bringing more people in under their influence. And so, they also have some family issues that could come up and surface that need to be healed and released. But this is going to be a really big eclipse series for the Aquarian. Possibly teaching, publishing, maybe that's how they're going to cast their net.
I kind of felt like you talked about a spiritual awakening, like finding their true purpose, or at least their path that they need to walk for the next whatever till the next cycle. But it is it's a drastic change that comes with that. And we got 2 of Wands here, so it's like that planning and looking to the future, and looking what's ahead rather than what is behind, because it's time for planning. With the 2 of Wands, this is Aries energy, and it's like taking the first steps and making that decision that ultimately makes or breaks you. I feel like, and it's about planning your future specifically, and what do you see coming forward. And the advice with that too, we get sadness and isolation again. Again, this is like you talked about, there's that family energy. I just read this, sadness and isolation. but it is about, you talked about disharmonies in the family and how to make some changes to start to experience more greater joys. And I feel like the sadness and isolation is also taking that point where you go within yourself to decide what's best for you, because you've got to tune out the noise here and focus on what's going to get you into the next. It's almost like a new chapter of your life, right? This is the new book that starts, but it does start with taking those opportunities and what you've learned, and experiencing all those pains so that you can like propel yourself to the future. And it's that forward gaze. And I think it's like an Aquarian should be like being more innovative and looking beyond their heartbreaks and their pains into those things that are going to expand and grow. And that's as you said, this is a very karmic transformation. It goes from being isolated to, like, I feel like a poof, all of a sudden, okay, it's like I've been sitting here for so long, and now I got to start looking forward because things may change very rapidly. And it also can be dealing with travel, as like looking to the future and to something in the distance or going after it. So, and it's about taking risks, right? I mean, you've got to take these risks to get you out of where you're at into the new. So that's what we got for the
Yeah,
Aquarian.
obviously I'm an Aquarian, I'm Aquarian sun sign. And I feel like for me personally, it's, I live in my head 90% of the time. So I need to get that out there. I need to get my message out there, cast that net. And, this is going to provide a huge change for me.
Right. And it's getting in the comfort zone and like letting yourself out from that sadness and isolation. I don't see sadness and isolation as a place. It is just kind of that place you're exploring all of those feelings so you can project what you've learned. I mean, that's what
What
Aquarians
you've
do.
learned, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's that ninth house. Yes, for
So,
sure.
all right.
Okay, so last but not least, always is our Pisces. Drum roll, breath of Pisces, sun sign. So your nodal axis is gonna be up there in your for the moon, it's up in the ninth house, and for the solar eclipse here on the 14th, it's down in the third house. So for you, it's close to that second house too. So I think that, it's a new pattern for them. It could be a new pattern with their finances, materializing something. I don't know if it is finances or it's just materializing, a goal or something that they've been wanting to do. They're going to have a lot of resources and be very resourceful during this eclipse series. And they're going to be finalizing some things too. They're going to be finalizing some contracts or ending some past contracts, whether those contracts or regular physical contracts or, and I'm using the word contracts, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's like the written document that we sign. Contracts can be unsaid agreements or unsaid contracts that we've been holding on to that we need to let go of.
No, absolutely right. And we all have a contract too when we come down to this earth to fulfill. So, yeah, there's karmic contracts we also need to break that aren't binding no more. Yeah, we need to let loose of the old expectations because I really feel like there's, for me, like some big shifts, just like you're saying. Uh, it can be financially, but I also feel like it's also metaphorically for me driving expansion and things I don't even know that are going to expand. But I also know it's those things I've been putting my work into. Um, and those are the things, Queen of Swords, right? There's the
You
Queen of
stole
Swords.
my card, Brett.
I was going to say the Queen of Swords reminds me of the first time I ever pulled cards for you.
Right.
And, the Queen of Swords is very honest. She's very independent too. And I think the biggest thing with Pisces is being our own independent selves, being objective, and also understanding the perspectives that are being put in front of us right now. And we need to be picky about things. And we also got to allow for constructive criticism, where we can question our own thoughts so that we know we're on the right path. And it's I feel like she's like cutting through the BS. Oh, Pisces got sacral chakra too. Dealing with the sacral chakras, I really feel it's more of a love thing with a Pisces as much as it's lust, and we can do both of those things. But activating that sacral chakra, I think, is activating a joy or inspiration, just like the wands do. It's like what's inspiring us, and do we have that sword to go get it? Are we really gonna? We may have to do it by ourselves. You know what I mean? And follow our own true path, and what really is driving us, whether it's love, lust, or whatever desire. I mean, the sacral thing can be all of those things, but it is an energy that pushes us through, and love will get us to where our heart is meaning to be, or where we need to be. And we've got to address those parts of us too. And also living more in our mental state rather than from our emotional side, bringing logic, taking off the rosy colored glasses, and say, hey, this is really what I want to go after. This is what I truly love, or this is where my inspiration is driving me through this eclipse season. So it's discovery of truth and what's true to us, and how we want to be our true authentic selves in this world as a Pisces, and be accepted for that. Whether they accept us or not, we are who we are. And it's about also communications, and being able to say what's on our mind and say how we feel without the fear of being ridiculed, or because we can be different. Right?
Mhm.
We think differently than anybody else. And it's okay to be like that, because that's what we're here in this world for. Just like Aquarius drive humanitarian needs, Pisces, we drive that love and that empathy and the caring for all. But we will take some heads. I mean, that's one thing I like about that queen, is she takes no prisoners. You lie to the queen, and your head will be sitting there next to her throne. So it's also, I feel like, there's take no prisoners. This is our time to step out and not let anything keep us from what we're actively pursuing through this eclipse season.
Use your resources. You got this.
Right? Yeah. Think it out. Think it out. Like
Yep.
Pisces, think it, feel it, and see it, and manifest it, and make it happen. So, well, that was exciting.
That was so exciting.
I hope everybody enjoyed that for each sign. I know I thoroughly did. I know we were trying to make it shorter, but I thought it was longer in the best way. So hopefully all the signs got something for this. And like you said, check your sun sign, check your rising sign, because if you're a Capricorn rising, the Capricorn cards might show some perspective, even if you're a Scorpio or something else. So
Correct.
thank you so much, Cindy, for all of your divine energy with aligning those stars and allowing me to throw some energy at it, and seeing what shakes loose for all our collective, because we are trying to help everybody who listens and wants to make these changes in our life, and also pursue what it's like getting out of the programming right now. And it's like,
Yes. And I think that would be my closing message, is that, there's a lot that goes on over the course of a year astrologically. There's been a lot going on for the last couple of years. So been a lot of strong, heavy energies, but I think that, we're still not out of the woods yet. I think, we're going to see some opening up. the first of the year or this coming spring, but these eclipses are the start of it. So everybody should take that seriously, you know, be reflective about it, sit down and make notes about it. One of the things as you continue to evolve, and maybe follow astrology or whatever, is starting to notice, you know, the patterns that it creates through your life. So it's an exciting time.
It is, and it is fun breaking patterns, especially unsuccessful ones, because you just never know what happens when you change your whole thought process. There's an enlightenment there that you just, it's a beautiful thing to experience, but it's also one of the hardest things, is facing that reality and stepping through the fear or misconceptions or your programming from your past to really reach for your potential for the future, and what these eclipses can really transform, and what they lay out for you too. So the future is amazing, and all my best to everybody out there. And thank you for liking, subscribing, and checking out Cindy and I. I'll put our links in there. So if you want a personal reading with Cindy, you can reach out to her. And of course, if you'd like a tarot reading from me, my information will be there too. So thank you, Cindy, for your enlightenment and all your energy in this program. And thank you, everybody out there.
All righty.
Take care, Cindy. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Brett. Bye, everyone.